Well, hello there! Hey guys, Mason here, Cardinal Gaming. That's right, we got a green screen, a whiteboard, lab coat on. That's how you know it's going to be a serious video. This is 100% factual truth. Don't doubt me. Don't hate me in the comments. This is all 100% true because I have a lab coat on and I have a whiteboard to show you facts. No, but seriously, gonna go over some stuff and kind of lead us along the point to where we are now and talking about wave printing and wave, how it was supposed to work, then how it's working now that we're now getting bombarded with all the waves that we were supposed to get forever ago, and then now we're just getting a bunch of it and it's crashing all the prices because, you know, stability was not a thing. We're gonna talk about how we get there. You remember when you go to a water park and they have the wave pool? You know what I'm talking about? When you go to a water park and it's like a swimming pool, but it's like it gets deeper. It's like shallow on one end, and then it kind of gets deeper on one end. It kind of goes the other way. We go the other way. Kind of goes where you go like this, and it gets deeper, and then you got like waves. These are waves. And like the machine creates these little waves, which is really great and fun. Everybody loves that part. That's awesome. You get to be like you're in the ocean, but you're in a pool. It's great. But then like after like 20 minutes, they turn it off. And it's like, wow, this is just a regular swimming pool now. This kind of sucks. Well, one of the reasons why they do that, I don't know if you know, the machines that cause all those waves are really expensive to run. It takes a lot of energy. So they turn them off every once in a while just to kind of like get people out of there and be like, all right, take a break, and then we're going to come back and do it again for another 15 minutes, and then we're going to do it again. It's going to do that kind of stuff back and forth. That's the theory behind wave printing. I should put that up here. Wave printing was that we were supposed to get these little ripples and starts and stops. We can get product and then we can't. Or we can get product and we can't. That was the idea. That is not what happened. It's a good idea. Great idea in theory. But it's not how it worked out. Just because of how things are right now. To understand that, you got to understand how it used to be. Let's go back. All the way back to Vivid Voltage. Now, Vivid Voltage was like the first set where all this started popping off, right? So, in a traditional scenario, we have 3 players. Well, 4, let's say. You got Pokemon themselves, who's obviously manufacturing the product, printing the product, and distributing it out to the distributors. So, that goes to 2 different locations. It either goes to a big conglomerate store or a big conglomerate company that ships and stocks big box stores. We're just going to call the biggest one MJ. That's a J. MJ Holding. And then you have hobby distributors like Southern Hobby, Alliance, all those companies. We'll call them we'll say hobby distributors. And then obviously these people divvy out all the product to all the other smaller actual retailers. So MJ Holding sending it off to your Walmart, your Targets, your other chain stores, big box. Cool, great, awesome, fantastic. And then we can talk about from hobbies. It's shipping out to LGS stores and other large online sellers around the country. So there's like Cardinal. And you're trolling toads. LGS. Says. So, in a typical oh, my lab. What happened to my lab? We gotta go back. Hold on. Uh-oh. Alright. Temporary outage, guys. Sorry about that. Had to reset the lab. Anyways, where was I? Before I was rudely interrupted by my entire building shutting down. So, this is how the flow product typically goes. And when a new set comes out, let's talk about Vivid Voltage. Pokemon goes to these distributors and bigger shippers and go, okay, we have a new set coming out. How much do you need us to print? How much does your other locations and stores that you sell to want of the product? So then, that's what's called the allocation period, or the pre-allocation period, where we put in our numbers. Our little guys down here say, I want X amount of this, blah, 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 blah. And they go to the distributed companies, and then they tell Pokemon, we want this much. So, if all these companies are saying, hey, I want 10 cases, I want 5 cases, I want 6 cases, I want 100 cases, blah, blah, blah. And then this distribution, MJ Holdings go, I want 1,000 cases. Well, it's going to be a lot more than that. Let's say 500,000 cases. And hobby distribution wants to go, yeah, I want 100 or 500,000 cases too. I want 1 million of this Vivid Voltage product. 1 million cases. That's 6 million boxes. And that could potentially be a realistic number for recent sets. Just throwing it out there. Just Pokemon is printing billions of cards. You got to do the math, and that's kind of what it comes out to. Anyways. So, when you go back and you talk to Pokemon, they're like, okay, we're printing this much right now. We're going to print that much more. We're going to say how much we can give you. And then we're going to hold back a little bit so that we have enough to push back out whoever needs it the most. So that's what starts the allocation period, where a hobby store or hobby distribution company tells hobby stores, hey, you can only get this much. I got this much for you on release. And you're like, okay, fine. What are you going to say? No? So they deal that out, and then Pokemon sends them that product. And then Pokemon is holding in their warehouse X amount more to ship wherever it needs it the most. Because even though you probably don't think they care about the pricing, they definitely do. They want prices to be low. They want things to be accessible. They want things to be able, or people to be able to get the new stuff. Because that's when it sells the most. That's when the hype is there. That's when people want it. So, MJ Holding is shipping all this product to the Walmarts and Targets of around the country. And hobby distributors are shipping the product all around the LGSs around the country. That's how it normally works. In Vivid Voltage, that little excess that got stockpiled in the back for Pokemon, they went, oh crap. Everybody wants way more product than what the initial first wave was. Even more than that. We have to release all the excess product we have. So they shipped everything out to all these companies. Just to try to satisfy demand until they can print more. And of course, at that time, things were already strained on the printing process and all the printing companies, and they probably had to wait several months in order to get things back up and running and try to get more of this product out there. And as those printing windows got more and more compacted because of the ongoing issues last year, plus the huge spike in Pokemon, and just collectibles in general, and the demand on the printers being so high anyways, Pokemon had way less of a reprint of Vivid Voltage than they even initially thought they could put out to meet the demand in the first place. So that caused this big, giant, huge spike in all these prices. And all these sets that should have been normal price, not a big deal. Demand was just too much. They could not print enough, and the supply chain broke down because the way that you're supposed to put things out in waves is to stabilize and create, even though it's a ripple effect, over the long term, it should be smoothed out and make for a more consistent experience. So after Vivid Voltage is like, okay, that sucked. We're going to go to wave printing. Smaller print windows, but in multiple batches. Problem with that, just like in the wave machine at the water park, printing in waves is expensive. You could print a lot more cards, a lot quicker, and with less energy, and more efficiently if you just do a bunch all at once. But because the printers weren't able to do that, everything got really crunched into these smaller windows, and they're just sit on full blast, and that's why you have these wide range printing issues. We're just trying to crank out as much product as possible. On top of that, you're having delays, remember a lumber shortage, paper shortage in general. What is Pokemon cards made out of? Paper. So all this stuff, supply chains are breaking down. You got up to 3 months wait time coming into harbor from China and all these places across where all these raw materials are coming from. It all is compacted. It's all pushing things back. And you could potentially miss print windows. You're like, okay, sorry, I didn't get your product in time. I have to move on, though, because I have other people wanting this printer. And it just combined and compressed these issues into worse and worse situations. So then it's costing Pokemon more to do these waves, and then they're not even getting through those waves efficiently and able to put them out enough. Which means down the supply chain, obviously, everything breaks down when you don't have the supply to trickle out in waves to people. So instead of a normal situation where LGSs and all these companies that have the ability to change prices said, okay, I don't know when I'm going to get any more of this. I got to up the price to try to hold on to this. Because obviously the demand is there, but the product isn't. And that's why prices shot to the roof for every other set thereafter. Because all the big box stores were obviously selling and selling out, and that product was being sold on the secondary market because the demand was so high. So that's what I was talking about in the last whiteboard video that I did, when I was talking about how scalpers were created and how prices were what they were and stuff like that on the secondary market, and then at a game store level. That was the last whiteboard video that I did. That was fantastic. People should have watched it. It was awesome. But they didn't. Well, some of you did. If you did, write down in the comments and say, yeah, I watched that. But that's why the situation was created. We all know that's basically what happened, right? So the bright idea that we came up with things like later on with like Champion's Path and Shining Fates and the standard sets after Vivid Voltage, where that wave printing was going to be the answer. That was the answer, the solution. That, yes, we can't get it to you all at once to meet the demand, but if we trickle it out month after month, we should be able to at least keep prices stable to where it's at least within reason, and that's not just big dry spells. Again, constraints happen, things got pushed back, shipping delays, all this stuff. Printing windows were tightened. The demand for the printers were at all-time highs. So all that stuff compacted this issue to being what it is. The wave system that they dreamt up, and in theory is an awesome idea, even though it is more expensive for them. Who cares? They're making buttloads of money, so who cares? But that turned off the waves. There's no more waves in the wave pool anymore. So we're all just sitting there in the water going like, I'm just in a giant bathtub with 100 other people. This sucks. Until now. So now we have all these waves hitting at once because now they're catching up to where something happened. I don't know what happened. Obviously, printers either got space or opened up, or maybe in Pokemon was like, okay, let's just ship all this at once because that makes sense. That's cheaper because that's how these constraints on shipping delays You already had Fusion Strike pre-release get pushed back because of shipping delays, and all these other products around in the hobbies sphere. Metazoos delayed, Magic's getting delayed. All this stuff is just in a big unknown. So that's why we're probably seeing all this stuff all at once, because Pokemon is like, all right, we finally got the stuff. Just throw it at everybody. Just get it out there. We gotta throw it out there. Get it to people. So that obviously is gonna help with demand, but for the people on the back end here, and even in some cases, MJ Holding, they may even say this product is 6 months old, a year old maybe, depending on how far back they decide to print. I don't know if I want this anymore. I don't know if I want this second wave of battle styles when I have another third wave coming on the back that could be potentially coming. And again, this was all not disclosed to anybody. As of Tuesday of last week, I talked to my sales rep, and he said, nope, have no idea when we're going to get those. I was like, oh, there's any word of those? Are they shipping with the second wave of celebrations? Nope, have no idea. We are a complete radio silence on that situation. That's what I was saying. I was reporting. And then Pokemon just unloaded all this product. We're seeing distributors and all this product hitting shelves everywhere. Way more, and of way more variety than we've ever seen in this past year. It's very good. It's a very good thing for the hobby. Awesome. But it's going to crash the prices, and it's going to put huge strains on these back-end people down here that maybe, obviously, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, when all these sets were coming out, said, yes, give me as much as you can, and then we're locked in, and then we're committed to that stuff, and then now we're even in a bigger hurry because we have to have money for Fusion Strike, we have to pay for the rest of Celebrations, we have to pay for the second / third waves, or whatever these waves are, of Chilling Reign and Evolving Skies, and if there's battle styles in there, I think people are saying that there might be. I haven't seen any tickets for it, but all the stuff is hitting all at once. There's too many waves now. You can't. You see that video where one of these like messed up, the wave pool's messed up, and they just sent like a huge giant wave and it just like knocked people everywhere. We're in a tsunami situation. We got big old waves coming down. And you guys, I'm sure, are going to say, this is awesome. I love this. That means booster boxes are going to be dirt cheap. You're absolutely right. And every single person that opened an LGS store or a Pokemon store or a card store in the past year is going to get absolutely shit on. Because they have to put out all this money on all this product. And they're going to just be trying to unload it as fast as possible along with everybody else. And then who really wins in that situation? Those that aren't desperate, those people that have money and are not going to be in a huge sell-off period, that don't need the money, have plenty of reserves. Your bigger troll and toads, people like that. The big fish are going to eat up the little fish like they always do. Capitalism pays off again for the big corporations. And your MJ Holdings out there, buying this stuff up. MJ Holding, in even normal situations, if there's too much product and Pokemon is just sending it out and like, who wants this stuff? Dirt cheap. We're just trying to move it. Need space in the warehouse. Got to keep rolling. MJ Holding always picks up the bill and always is just like, yeah, I'm going to pay for that. Give me all that. And they make those like repacks and those mystery cubes and those things kind of like that. That's where all that product comes from. MJ Holding makes all that stuff. That's where we're at currently. The wave pool went from no waves to like tsunami waves. Good for you, not good for businesses. And I'm sure you all have wonderful things to say down in the comments about that. But we'll see. We'll see how big these little wave ripples really are. And who's getting this product. Maybe these little stores are going to get all the product that they think they're going to get. And maybe all of it will continue to go to MJ Holdings. Like a lot of the last little bit of Evolving Skies. A lot of Chilling Rain ended up going to big box, and ETBs and things like that all going to big box stuff. Maybe LGSs and hobby stores they won't be getting any of it. Maybe they're just gonna pull out secret third option and go. That's a Pokeball. Get your mind out of the gutter. That's a Pokeball. See, it's got a line on it. The PokemonCenter.com. Maybe. It's getting interesting, folks. It's getting interesting. It's all going into holiday season. I got to do some more research in the lab. I got to get back to it. So, hopefully, you guys gained something out of this to see how this happened, how this broke down, and how this fell apart. And I appreciate you watching. If you already watched all the way through, if you watched all the way through, hashtag Mason's Lab in the comments. I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay.